We interviewed a gentleman who said that a lot of Hollywood work is like temp work. You're kind of swinging from one temp job to another, and it's never where you're really landing in one spot.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, you could say, well, there's a lot of people that had corporate jobs that they were just given a severance package and pushed out the door.
Yeah.
So nothing is really guaranteed, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, I think the nature of most film work, or at least the film work that I do, is there just isn't stability. There just, and there won't be. You know, I remember years ago, this was probably 20 years ago, I saw an interview with Kevin Bacon, and he is still, I believe, married to Kira Sedgwick, and it was them, and Kevin Bacon, you know, has been around since I was a kid, and he said that after every project, when it goes quiet, he ggets very nervous, and he's like, oh no, am I ever gonna work again? And I remember that sticking out to me, like, wait, Kevin Bacon is worried about getting work? And now that I've been in the industry for a little while, I'm like, oh, right. Like, you have no idea if you will be, even if you're on top of the world 2 years from now, you know, maybe nobody remembers your name, or you shoot a project that bombs, or, you know, whatever it is. It's such a competitive world. And I think, you know, I don't think it's a good industry to base your life on if you want to build a healthy family. And I hate saying that because it is an industry I love so dearly. But having a relationship, when you're gone, you know, 80 hours a week and you come home, you're exhausted. I don't know. You have to have a special partnership to make that work. I think it's very stressful on all your relationships, romantic, friend, all that. And I don't know. I mean, I think mostly I like to put that out there. Nothing is good or bad. It just is, you know, like, and that's just a fact of our industry. And I think it's important for people to realize that, because there are a lot of romantic ideas going in, but the reality of it is, and especially now, you know, I don't know, will movie theaters open back up? Period. I'm sure they're going to open up in some capacity, but you know, our world is changing, and streaming is now huge. I mean, there are more TV shows being made than ever in the history of Hollywood, but there are no more residuals, you know, almost entirely gone. And that's how a lot of writers and directors and actors maintained a career, is that you were getting residuals from old projects, but they don't have residuals on any of the streaming services. So the future of our industry is very uncertain. But the flip side is if you just look at the art of making, and, you know, between YouTube and all these shows on Netflix and Hulu and Amazon and all these, there's more work and creation being done than ever before. It's just the money is the trick. But money's always the trick, I suppose.
Sure. But when you look at your IMDb and just your body of work, it would be, you know, I'm surprised to hear you question that. But I think that's a healthy questioning, though, just being realistic.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's is not taking it for granted, and never assuming that the future is going to be what the present is, because it probably won't be. And, you know, I've only ever shot one project that anyone has heard of, and so I think I've shot 10 seasons of TV, and one got, you know, was a hit to some capacity, at least for its size. Nobody's ever heard of the features I shot. Like, you never know what's gonna go in what direction. And so for me, it's really important that I love the work, the craft, which I do, because you have no control over the other elements of it. And so I try to, when I can, pay attention to who am I working with. The people make a real difference just in terms of quality of life day to day. But yeah, I mean, you never know what's gonna work or what's not gonna work or what anybody will find. I've shot I shot, I don't remember now, 4 or 5 series for Go 90, which was a Verizon streaming service, which doesn't exist anymore. So even the full streaming service, the channel just ceased to exist, let alone those shows. But I loved the work, and I'm proud of the work we did on a lot of those shows. I hope they find themselves a home, because some of them are really good shows. But again, I have no control over that. And so learning to let go helps. Is you just control what you can, which is on set, on the day, you do as good a job as you can, be pleasant to work with, enjoy it, because that's still your life day to day there. So yeah, it's weird. It's very strange. It's depressing when I think about the realities of the industry. I tend to get pretty discouraged, because I would like to put some roots down, buy a house one day, or whatever that might look like, and I don't know when or if or how that'll go. So yeah. But for now, I still love the work. Like, I get excited. I just read a script this week for a feature that may or may not happen, and in the new year. And it's like, oh yeah, how would I shoot this shot? And what's the look of this? I still get really excited about that. So I let that lead me. But I'm in my 40s. So,
oh, you are?
yeah.
Okay. I did not know that. I thought you were much younger. Okay.
Yeah, no,
Oh.
it's the years.
You'll be
The
sleeping
years
well.
keep going. Yeah, I'm sleeping well. It's a pandemic. Yeah.
Okay, well, I got to give you that. Yeah. I'm sure there's other folks out there that are in a similar boat. They're looking for work. They're ready for work,
Yeah.
but it's not there, or whatever the case may be. How do you keep yourself in check? You said you have a meditation practice?
Yeah, I mean, so I know myself well enough at this point, and I'm still learning. I haven't figured out all my quirks, but I know that if I don't go for walks, I will start to go crazy. Going to the movie theater has always been a big thing for me. I always feel very at peace in a movie theater, but that is not an option these days. So I've not gotten myself out to nature often enough, but I know that usually a few days of camping will usually kind of reset me. But how I eat and making sure there's some exercise in my life, and I almost take it like medicine. It has nothing to do with, oh, today's a good day to exercise, or I feel like exercising. No. Like, I have to, because I will lose my mind otherwise. And so a part of it is really just being able to have the discipline, I guess, which for me feels strange to say, because I don't think of myself as a disciplined person. But for anything regarding filmmaking, I've always been able to convince myself to do something for the greater good. So keeping myself healthy for my own life maybe doesn't work, but to keep myself healthy so that I'm a better filmmaker, so that hour 13, I'm still energetic, that's somehow always been a way that I've been able to keep myself, happy and healthy to some degree. And I've always struggled with anxiety, and so I have these little things that I just know I need to do, or I could lose a handle, and who knows, just go crazy. So yeah.
Here's Johnny.
Here's Johnny, exactly.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, I make light of it, but I think we're all there in some way, because this is uncharted territory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we thought we'd seen the worst with the Great Recession, and then there's so many aspects that we're just, this is, been a very trying year in so many ways.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, and I will say, I mean, gratitude is that's something I'm really trying to practice, is just being thankful for. I mean, the fact that I shot a show that found an audience and that people like, I'm so grateful for that. After years of just grinding, and it felt like I was banging my head against a wall, and then it's like, oh, people like this. That's great, and it feels good, but it's also like that's already gone. And so just to be grateful that something like that, grateful for my health, anything that you can be grateful for, I think goes a long way. I think it's easy to spiral in a global pandemic, in a country that is, pretty divided, and a lot of anger and frustration. I think I don't, you know, it's dangerous. You don't want to ignore anything, but is finding the things that make you, bring you some sort of peace and even joy, I think is so important. Remember why, you know, why do you want to live this life? Like why? Oh yeah, right. Like hugging. I remember hugging. Hugging's pretty good. I'm assuming we'll do that again one day. So there's just, yeah, trying to be grateful for as much as you can. And, you know, when I moved into my new house, I bought myself a really nice TV, and I was like, oh, this is really expensive. I don't know if I should. But I did, knowing that I had a show coming, and I was like, okay, I can rationalize the cost. But now in the pandemic, I love that I have this huge TV and I'm watching, you know, all manner of things. And it's a nice little treat. And I can't go to a movie theater, but I have a nice setup at home, which I didn't have forever. So, you know, I'm thankful for that. Gratitude, I think, is a good tool. Hard to exercise, but yeah.
What's your favorite thing to watch on this new TV now?
Oh man, you know what? I've been really, I mean, I'm all over the place, but I love watching a movie from like the 70s or 80s where it has this like beautiful film grain. And I love watching the grain because the TV's really nice and the blacks like go really black. So if you watch somebody like Gordon Willis, you know, a legendary cinematographer, his work, he really leaned into, people called him the Prince of Darkness. And you watch these images that are really dark, but they have this grain dancing through it. Film grain is I have such a like a romantic, nostalgic reaction to it. So it makes me really happy to watch films with a ton of grain. Dirt, it's funny. I have this clean TV and my favorite things are the dirty images. I love those. Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, I love sometimes watching 90s, 80s talk shows. I mean, I love Phil Donahue, Jenny Jones. There's just something you can't, I don't know, there's something very romantic about it. I know it sounds really, but there is nostalgic, this like, you know, Phil Donahue and the hairstyles and it's...
Totally, yeah. Nostalgia is a superpower.
Yeah.